Howdy, mateys. Welcome to part one of a two-part series of videos on installing AIS on my sailboat. Now, I've done this twice before, so you'd think that, I'd know what I'm doing, and it'd go very quickly, but it's never like that, is it? I've had some issues. So I'm making this video to show you the current situation, what I've done to overcome some of the problems, make the best fit I can out of everything. And then in my second video, I'll show you the work completed and we'll turn it on and see if it works. So sit back, as I always say, sit back and relax, and I'll show you what I got going on here. Okay, there are generally three issues I've found in putting on an AIS system. First of all, I hope you know what AIS is. It's the identification system that are on all commercial ships now and on a lot of pleasure craft. And it identifies them and you mutually. And it shows up on your chart plotter as contacts. So it's a fantastic system. I'd really never want to go blue water without it. So I was definitely committed to putting it on here. But it's, of course, turned into a can of worms like everything else I try to do. Anyway, if you don't know about AIS, look into it, see what it can do for you. All right. Now, like I said, the first issue is where to put it. That's always a dilemma. And, of course, it depends on which kind of AIS system you get. There are two systems, by the way, A and B. A's on commercial ships, and I think it's 14 watts of transmit power. And then there's, and that, like I said, commercial ships have to have that. Then there's system B, and it's 2 to 5, depending on what you get, something like that, of transmit power. So it's much weaker, but it does the trick. So I'm very happy with what I've had in the past, and I hope I'll be happy with this one. So number one, where are you going to put it? That's number one. Number two, running the cables. It's incredible how many cables there are that you've got to run. Number three is getting it to talk to your chart plotter, because that's where all the information shows up. Okay, well, let me show you what I got. I've had this very system before, and I wanted it again. But what I wanted was what's called the Sailor package, an EM-TRAK Sailor package, and I had a devil of a time finding it. I finally found it on eBay in Denmark. And I, had a wild hair, and I ordered it, and believe it or not, it came in, and I've already hooked it up at home, and it worked fine. So hopefully it'll work fine when I get it on my boat. But when if you get this Sailor package, the reason I wanted it is it comes with three components. Number one, the AIS transceiver. Number two, the AIS GPS antenna. And then an antenna splitter at a pretty good price. So those three components. And I find them all essential, of course. So let me step through them. Here's the transceiver. Look at this little box. Anyway, as you can see, it's not made like a radio. You slide it in and you mess with dials. No, this thing either mounts vertically or horizontally, but it's got cables coming out of both ends of it. So it restricts where you can put it, and it's not really waterproof, they say. So you got to be careful. So where are you going to put it? It's got Of course, a USB slot here that you use to program it or change the programming. You know, your vessel name and your MMSI number, etc., etc. Then it's got an NMEA slot cable connection. Then it's got the power and data connector. Then on the back, you plug in your GPS antenna that it came with, as well as a boat antenna, like a VHF antenna. Has to go here for it to transmit and receive. This is for GPS. This is transmit and receive the AIS signal. Okay, so a lot of cables coming out of this thing. So where are you going to put it? Now, antenna splitter. I really like this. This has to have, let's say, a VHF antenna at the top of the mast. Well, you could put it on a rail, but you're going to get better distance with better coverage with it up on the top of your mast. What, you're going to climb up and put up another antenna? No. Use your regular VHF radio antenna. That's what this splitter is for. It multiplexes the signal. Here's where power comes in, right here. Here is where you can connect it to, or this is where you connect it to the AIS, right here. Here is where your radio, this is antenna out to your AIS. And it goes out and in through this port here. This port is where you hook up your VHF radio. You run a cable from your VHF radio, and all that's included in the box, by the way, from your VHF radio to this. And then this goes to the antenna on the top of your mast. And this is the power cable. Oh, I already mentioned that. Okay, so this goes up to your mast, to that antenna. This goes to your VHF radio. And in here, it splits it to your radio when you're using your radio, and to AIS unit, wherever you put that. You've got some little lights here, transmit and receive. But once you get it installed, you're seeing all this on your chart plotter. So you don't need to see these lights. Here are lights also, you know, they tell you it's on, or if you turned off the transmit. So these lights are not critical to you. You're going to see all this on your chart plotter. So, you know, where are you going to put these things? Well, you know, I sat down and thought a lot about it. I looked at everything, and I decided that I would put this near my VHF radio to connect it to the VHF radio, and then run the antenna cable wherever necessary to wherever I put the AIS unit. So what I've opened up my electrical panel, and I have decided to put this splitter right back here. Sturdy little board here, I can screw it in.